Making of the wire mesh compost bin. The compost pile that you make should be at least 1 metre long, 1 metre wide and 1 metre high. This you could do either by building a large pile in your yard or in a contained space like a wire mesh or wooden compost bin. Whether you make the compost pile in a yard, a wire mesh bin or a wooden bin, the procedure for making the compost pile is the same. We are going to learn how to make a compost pile in a wire mesh bin. To be able to do this, we first need to learn how to make a wire mesh bin. Building a wire mesh bin is easy and inexpensive. It is time and cost efficient too. So in this class, we will learn how to make a wire mesh compost bin. Objectives. At the end of this class, you will be able to identify the tools and materials needed to make a wire mesh compost bin and also make a wire mesh compost bin. The tools required to make a wire mesh compost bin are a sledgehammer and a machete or knife. Next, let's see the materials that will be required to make a wire mesh bin. A 4 metre long wire or plastic mesh, plastic wire or coir rope for tying the wire mesh together, and 4 wooden stakes or steel rods 4 feet long. Now let's construct a wire mesh compost bin. We're going to construct a wire mesh compost bin with 4 metres of wire mesh or plastic mesh with the holes less than 1 inch. Step 1. Hold out the mesh. Step 2. Pull the ends together, forming a cylinder. Step 3. Sew the 2 ends of the mesh with coir rope or plastic wire. Step 4. Using 4 4 feet long wooden stakes or steel rods, stretch the mesh out to form a square bin or a cylindrical bin. Hammer the stakes into the ground to form a cylindrical bin. The sticks are used to stretch out the bin. The compost bin is ready. Here are some easy tips that you can keep in mind while constructing a wire mesh bin. One can use materials that are available in the backyard, such as the stakes or sticks to hold the bin. One can always reuse it. It is flexible. The stakes that you should use should be able to support the bin long enough till the compost is ready. The stitching of the bin with a coir rope or plastic wire is done in such a way that one can easily remove it and reuse the coir or plastic wire. If you are using thin wire mesh for making the bin, then you might need good supports to hold the bin. But if you are using thick wire mesh, it can stand on its own and need not have strong support. It is so strong that you just need a little support. With that, we come to the end of this class. Let's recall what we've learnt. We've learnt how to build a wire mesh bin. Let's review its basic steps. Step 1. Hold out the mesh. Step 2. Pull the ends around together, forming a cylinder. Step 3. Sew the 2 ends of the mesh with coir rope or plastic wire. Step 4. Using 4 4-foot long wooden stakes or steel rods, stretch the mesh out to form a square bin or a cylindrical bin, and hammer the stakes into the ground to form a cylindrical bin. You have now learnt how to make a wire mesh compost bin. Take our next class to learn procedure for making slurry.